Hey YouTube, it's Sunday, August 6th I think today, and I did a SEAFOAM video earlier today on an outboard motor that I just bought, but I have this 1976 Ford, it's an F250 camper special that I bought from an estate a year ago. Yeah, this is original upholstery. It's a factory error. This truck had that's the original floor mat. Of course, driver's side's getting a little worse for wear now. Had 38,863 original miles on it. It's got 41 and change on it now. I've been working on it. I get kind of frustrated with it. Of course, when I got it, the brakes were froze, the fuel lines were plugged, all that kind of stuff. I've done a lot of work on it. I've had a bunch of work done on it. It's factory error. I had the air all redone. I've still had to rework it. I put a clutch on it because the place I took it to didn't know how to work on air conditioning, although they said they did. So I've also sent the carburetor off. This is a 460. It's a factory 4-barrel. And I sent the carburetor off to Southern California, paid $420 to have it professionally rebuilt. They said they put it on an engine, they flow test it, blah, 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 blah. And came back and it kind of ran okay. I sent it down there because it was flooding out. I mean, you'd literally be going down the road, it'll throw so much fuel down the intake manifold, it'll kill the car, and then it'll just overflow out on the intake manifold. Well, it didn't do that for a while, but it's doing it again. And I don't want to spend another $420 to send the carburetor back to him. I don't even want to freight it to him. So I was driving the truck this morning. It was actually doing okay. Then just pulled into the road where my shop is. It flooded out to the point where I had to coast all the way to the driveway and then let it sit because it had standing fuel on the intake manifold and the rig was fairly warm, so I didn't want to just blow it up in the driveway, so I let it sit for half an hour and cool down. I floored it and cranked it for 30 seconds. It finally started up. Blew a lot of black smoke. I drove it to here from my driveway and worked on my outboard motor a little bit. So this has cooled off now. I thought, well, you know, I had replaced the fuel pump. Maybe it's just fuel pressure, so I bought a fuel pressure regulator with a gauge and put it in and turned the fuel pressure down to 3.5 pounds or something, and it's obviously, that didn't work. It was probably 7 pounds or something. So we're going to do the SEAFOAM thing with this now. I figured what I got to lose, $6 or something at Walmart for a can of SEAFOAM. I think I'm going to credit SEAFOAM for making my outboard engine run. I mean, Friday at the guy's house, it didn't run worth a nickel. I mean, you put it in gear, it would die, and it runs great now. I idled that engine for an hour, and it was awesome. So, now I know this is under pressure because the gauge says it is. You know what? Walk with me for a minute. I got one of them pliers that for taking that fuel line off. It's in the shed here because I was working on something the other day. Walk with me to the shed. They're sitting right up here. Yes. If you don't have these, get you some. But great. Come in a set of 3 at Harbor Freight. For getting fuel lines off, they are the bomb. Okay, back in to get that fuel line off. I want to do it slowly because it's got 1.5 psi of pressure. Get it. Come on, baby. Okay, we're right there at the edge. Yeah, there we go. Oh, I didn't want the grass to grow right here anyway. Okay, I'm going to put you on a tripod. Oh, I'll show you what I've got going on here. So I've got this electric fuel pump. It's a new one that I bought just to have one around for stuff. I've got a gallon can with some fresh fuel in it, and a jumper pack to run the pump, just because the leads weren't long enough to reach the battery, and this has a switch on it. So we're just going to dump the SEAFOAM into the 1 gallon can of gas. Then we're going to use the electric pump to feed it to the carburetor. Then my goal is to run it for a little while and then shut it off, let it soak, and then run it for a little while later today. I think that'd be a good plan. Let me set you up on a tripod here where you can see everything. That should do nicely. Okay, so SEAFOAM, already pulled the plastic stopper out. We're going for the whole can. There's maybe a half a gallon of gas in here, and here's a pint of SEAFOAM. So that should be a pretty strong solution. Whatever's left, we'll just dump it in the tank. Okay, can on the ground. We'll plug in the fuel pump. The way that fit, we're definitely going to use the clamp. Okay, let's turn the fuel pump on, check for leaks with the jumper pack. Should have put it on the other side of the pressure regulator, and then we could have found out how much pressure that little pump puts out. Okay, so we're going to start the truck. I guess the key is in. And when the truck runs, it runs good. It didn't have, I'm not trying to correct something like as a runnability problem. I'm trying to correct the thing from its stuck needle and seat. Uh-oh, gas. Man, I didn't think about plugging the fuel line. It's just dumping fuel out on the ground. That was stupid. Hang on. That wasn't very smart of me. Sorry I made you wait. I had to get the piece of fuel line and stuck a bolt in it. See how the pliers weren't putting that fuel line back on. Yo, look at that. Also worked okay for retrieving the bolt from the frame. Gonna thread that back in there. Okay, a little better. There we go. I hope that stays. I'll watch it. Okay, no more leaking. That's a good thing. Okay, so this is the setup, and I'm just going to let the engine run now and let it get some of the SEAFOAM put into the carburetor real good. Run it for 20 minutes or something, and then I'm just going to let it sit and then come back later today and run this fuel out. And then I'll take it for a drive and I'll do another video and I'll tell you how it worked. Hopefully it worked good. So far we're 1 for 2 on the SEAFOAM success rate here. Got my little outboard running great, so let's see what she does for the truck, and check back next video.